Oh, hi. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you all had a safe and happy 4th of July. Did you grill? I would have, but it was 92 degrees. The bugs were out in full force, and I did not want to deal with gnats in my fur. So for the most part, I kept inside my news cave. But even in my cave, there were so many bugs. Almost as many as presidential candidates. Perfect segue. Just how many are there, and is it worth voting for one that isn't one of the major? Let's take a look, and oh my god, it's 39. Why? Ugh. Feel free to pause here if you want to take a look. So, moving on. You'll hear a lot of theories about third-party candidates and whether they are just spoiler candidates, a protest vote against the establishment, don't have the funds to survive, or that humans tend to flock towards two parties in the polarity voting system. Oh, some poli-sci majors out there might be familiar with something called Duverger's law. Basically, Maurice Duverger, his law shows that in polarity voting systems like the one here in the United States, two parties will always be bound to come out on top. This affects voters psychologically because since smaller parties will have little to no representation, voters will flock to those they believe have a chance to win, even if it isn't for their favorite candidate. Voters would rather see a lesser of evils, that is, in their point of view. Does this sound familiar? A huge obstacle for these smaller parties is getting on the national stage, and a big way to do that these days is through presidential debates. However, the Commission on Presidential Debates, which is controlled by the two major parties, sets goals that candidates outside of the major parties cannot or would be very hard to get to. Without all the attention of that national stage, a third-party candidate would basically need to go viral. These days, that is possible for someone like Kanye West. He just announced his candidacy this past weekend, and in it, he directly challenges Donald Trump, which is weird because the two are pals. If we pretend that he isn't late and can get on the ballots for this election, I say pretend because he's too late, would he be an upset? Some have tried calling him out as a distraction to pull voters away from Democrats so that Trump will have a better chance for re-election. Like him or not though, he is a famous celebrity. And if he were able to run as an independent, his influence on music, social media, and being married to another viral celebrity, Kim Kardashian, might have been enough to put him on the national stage with the Democrat and Republican candidates. He'd have plenty of media attention, the money needed to run ads, and has a large base of fans who may have helped him get past the polling threshold he'd need to get on the national stage and be an upset on the ballot this fall. Another point I want to make is that most voters don't want to be wrong and want to cast a vote for a party they believe will win. They also don't want to be seen as throwing their votes away. It's a pride thing. Third-party candidates have argued that you aren't throwing your vote away, and that is true, in a way. Lots of these smaller third-party candidates are elected into local offices, from boards of education to auditor generals. Some have even been president in the past. Washington was an independent and opposed forming political parties. Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, and Quincy Adams were in the Democratic-Republican Party. Adams was a Federalist. Harrison, Tyler, Taylor, and Fillmore were all Whigs. The second half of Lincoln's term, he became National Union before he was a Republican, and so was Johnson. But since 1868 till today, it's either been Republican or Democrat. And according to Duverger's law, that isn't going to change unless we get a proportional voting system. Now this topic can go on for hours, but everything I mentioned and adding things like voter suppression, district mapping, popularity, the media, social media, foreign interference, and even bullying play a part in why you'll never see the majority of the other 37 parties get elected unless our voting system changes. Before I get carried away, let's get into the news. Welcome to Barely a Bar's Woke52 Week 27. I'm your local poll worker, HilaHila. Yes, you can still see my face when you close the curtain, and yes, that does mean I'm watching how you vote. I get paid to do this. 240 international experts are warning that COVID-19 can float in air via droplets and is likely transmitting that way, meaning it could possibly be airborne. CDC and WHO officials are reviewing findings but have not confirmed yet. Meanwhile, Trump moves forward with the one-year plan to formally withdraw the U.S. from the WHO. Pushes for all schools to open for the fall for in-person classes. Plans to move forward with rallies and is shifting his COVID-19 message as something America will need to learn to deal with and get used to seeing. All this as Mary Trump spills the tea on her cheating and crazy Uncle Donald. More monuments are being debated on whether they should come down or not, the largest being Stone Mountain and Mount Rushmore, both being viewed as symbols of oppression built as hateful reminders of the past. It is telling when you look at the groups who paid for these, including the KKK and Daughters of the Confederacy. Mitch McConnell says that Americans could well receive a second but last stimulus check, citing the high federal debt, noting that those making under $40,000 were hit hardest. Boom, 52 seconds. Thank you for watching. If you like these news blasts, feel free to share a bear with your friends. You can also like, comment, subscribe, and click the notifications alert bell to stay woke 52 times a year in 52 seconds of news. Want to watch more news with your favorite news bear? Feel free to stay till the end to watch some clips or images with me. Bye for now.